Chapter 1225. At the same time, the crazy suggestions and complaints from customers had almost drowned all the major cinemas. Every day, countless customers strongly requested to increase the number of screenings of Dream Seeker. Manager, what should we do? I've already received hundreds of calls today, requesting to increase the number of screenings for Dream Seekers. The same conversation was taking place in the offices of the major cinema companies. However, due to the pressure from Enchanting's side, all the managers had reached a united front. In the face of the customers' requests, they insisted on not changing the screening rate and still tried to force the customers to watch I Only Like You. The consequence of this was, by the weekend of the fourth day, all the netizens' love for Dream Seekers, as well as their anger towards stupid movies and cinemas, had reached its peak. While the popularity of Dream Seekers soared, Enchanting's film was scolded by netizens. Liang Bichin, give me back my box office money. Before watching Dream Seeker, he didn't have such an intuitive feeling. After watching Dream Seeker, he realized that something that was shot in 10 days was not a movie at all. It was just a tool to make money. Liang Bichin's melodramatic comedy is completely vulgar in terms of aesthetics. It's not funny at all, and the audience is so embarrassed. Watching Dream Seeker was simply a spiritual cleansing. The trailer of I Only Like You gave off the feeling that we were a vulgar comedy. After watching it, I realized that it was not as good as the trailer. What a shitty movie. Is it not good to be alive? Why did she want to watch Liang Bichin's movie? What the hell? Why is the screening rate of Dream Seeker still so low? I wanted to book a ticket for Dream Seeker, but all I saw was Liang Bichin's retarded movie. There have been so many recommendations recently, and Dream Seekers is so popular. Why is the screening rate still so low? Are the people in charge of those cinemas blind? Is there anything you don't understand? It was obviously an under-the-table operation. Which one of those managers didn't get paid? Fuck. I don't know if I should say motherfucker. The stagnation of Hua Nation's film industry was caused by these people. Damn it. It's fine that you like to eat shit, but you're forcing us to eat shit as well. This was the Chinese film market. Get up. Those who didn't want to eat shit. Everyone protested together. No one should go to the cinema to watch that stupid movie. That's right. Boycott brainless movies. Retard movie, get out of the film industry. Enchanting did everything he could to arrange the release date to be the same as a Dream Seeker. However, he never expected that in the end, not only would he not be able to squeeze a Dream Seeker to death, but he would also be caught in his own trap. Compared to a Dream Seeker, his own film was nothing good at all. The funniest thing was that Enchanting had spent so much money to hype up I Only Like You, and now it was all to pave the way for Dream Seeker. This was because, on the internet, as long as I Only Like You was mentioned, someone would definitely mention Dream Seeker as a comparison, causing the popularity of Dream Seeker to rise rapidly by stepping on the shoulders of I Only Like You on the weekend. I Only Like You, which was scheduled for prime time in the major cinemas, was deserted. There were only a few people in the huge screening hall. However, when it came to the unpopular morning and afternoon showings, the entire theater would come alive again. As long as it was in the hall where Dream Seekers was being shown, the attendance rate would be as high as 100%. The entire theater was filled to the brim, and it was even difficult to get a ticket. Chapter 1226. In the theater. Zhou Zhihe secretly looked at the packed theater. He looked at the audience in the theater who burst into laughter and screams of excitement from time to time. His expression was a little ugly. The deputy general manager next to him also looked worried. Director Zhou, are you really not going to increase the screening rate for Dream Seekers? Recently, our complaint phone has been exploding with calls. There are more and more attacks and doubts about us on the internet. Most importantly, the attendance rate for Enchanting's movie is getting lower and lower. Especially today, it's the weekend. It should be the most crowded time, but the attendance rate is only 6%. More than half of our screenings have been given to Zhenkangda. We've suffered heavy losses. What's the situation at the other theaters? Zhou Jihe asked in a low voice. The situation at the other theaters is similar, but there's one exception. Huaying? Yes. The deputy general manager nodded. Zhou Jihe smiled bitterly when he heard that. I heard that on the second day of Dream Seekers, Fang Jiayue increased its screening rate to 60%. Such boldness. This Fang Jiayue is indeed worthy of being called China's #1. The deputy general manager also looked envious. Huaying must have made a killing these few days. The audience can't be seen in other theaters, but her theater has so many screenings, so they must have all gone there. Actually, I purposely went to one of Huaying's theaters in the city center to take a look. That popularity. The deputy general manager did not finish his sentence, but Zhou Jihe could already imagine it. For the theater, the loss was not only in ticket money, but also in other incidental expenses brought about by the flow of customers. All of these added up was definitely not a small figure. At the same time, in a theater under Huaying in the capital, the entire theater was packed with people, and there was even a long queue. Because Huaying had given Dream Seekers the highest screening rate, even in the middle of the night, all 6 theaters were open, and one of them was a super large theater that could accommodate 300 people. Even under such circumstances, some could not resist the enthusiasm of the customers. There were still many people who could not buy tickets and were asking for them at high prices online. There were even scalpers. At that moment, in the theater, most people were there to watch Dream Seekers, and many of them were there for the second, third, or even fourth time. Everyone had a common topic and were chatting enthusiastically. I finally got the tickets, I'm so excited. I didn't expect Huaying to have so many screenings. Aya, you guys only found out now? Huaying screenings have always been very high. I've always been watching from Huaying, and I've already recommended many people to come over. We only came because we saw online people saying that Huaying has a high ranking. It's just that it's too far from my home, but it's worth it. I'd rather drive 2 hours to see my brother Shi than see Liang Bichin's pretentious face at the door. Wow, I like brother Shi too. Have you added brother Shi's Weibo account? Yes, I have. It's a pity that there are no pictures of brother Shi in men's clothes on his Weibo, and he hasn't updated his status recently. What a pity. Everyone, work hard to raise the box office. When the time comes, we'll ask brother Shi to give us men's clothing benefits. As Dream Seeker became more and more popular, the main leads in the movie also became famous, especially the female lead. Ning Shi's Weibo completely blew up. In the comments and private messages on Weibo, there were countless confessions and requests for Ning Shi to post photos of herself in men's clothes. Chapter 12:27. Peach Blossom Doc. Ning Shi was reading the comments under her Weibo. In just a few days after Dream Hunter was released, Ning Shi's Weibo fans had exceeded 20 million, and it was still increasing. The fans spontaneously began to call Ning Shi Brother Shi. Of course, most of them called her Honey and Prince Charming. If Brother Shi posts a picture in men's clothes, I will swallow 5 boxes of shampoo, copy the entire news broadcast, split durians with my bare hands, smash stones with my chest, knock bricks with my head, bungee jump without a rope, catch blades with my bare hands, eat peeled oranges, and copy Chinese dictionaries, idiom dictionaries, English-Chinese dictionaries, Tao Te Ching, 3-character classic, classic of mountains and seas, 300 Tang poems, and 500 song poems. I'm so confident. Ning Shi, you are suspected of theft. Recently, many girls have reported that you have stolen their hearts. Now you will be punished as follows. You must take responsibility for your flirting. Otherwise, we will chase you to the ends of the earth. Honey, if you were uglier, I might want to go shopping with you, watch movies, eat Western food, take a walk, watch the stars and the moon, and talk about poetry and life philosophy with you. But you are so beautiful that I just want to sleep with you. What's the difference between a person who can't sleep with brother Shi and a salted fish? Probably because Ning Shi's character in the film was so deeply rooted in people's hearts. Many people were even asking about Ning Shi's sexual orientation and wondering if she liked girls. Looking at the overwhelming number of comments saying that they wanted to sleep with her, and they were all girls, Ning Shi felt that it was a wonderful feeling. Lu Tingxiao, who was standing by the side, had also seen the comments. He said with a cold expression, "Are girls nowadays so unreserved?" Looking at Lu Tingxiao's serious face, Ning Shi laughed. "It's just a way for people to express their love. For example, I'm the same to you." Ning Shi said, leaned close to the man's ear and whispered, "Sleeping with you is better than 10 miles of spring breeze. Sleeping with 1,000 beauties is better than sleeping with 1,000 beauties. Sleeping with you is better than sleeping with 1,000 miles of rivers and mountains." The man narrowed his eyes, turned over and pressed the girl under his body. "You must take responsibility for your flirting." Damn it. The devil was imitating those fans' words. He was really putting what he had learned into practice. Ning Shi said hurriedly, "Of course, no matter how much I flirt, I'll only be responsible for you. Besides, I like men. Don't tell me you don't know this." As soon as he finished speaking, the man forcefully kissed the girl's lips until the girl's lips were slightly red and swollen before he was slightly satisfied. He thought he was able to look at all of this calmly, but reality proved that no matter how many times it happened, even if they were girls, he still couldn't stand seeing them covet his wife. However, this lass was getting more and more familiar with him, and she always had a way to resolve his frustrations. What he hated the most was having his emotions controlled by others. However, in front of her, he was willing to endure it and even enjoyed the feeling of being controlled by her. Ning Shi thought of something and got up. "Oh, right, Lu Tingxiao, wait for me. I'm going to change. Help me take a photo." Director Shen said that our total box office earnings are about to break 500 million, so he needs us to give some benefits to the fans. I thought about it, the photos in men's clothing are the most popular, so it should be the most suitable. Chapter 12:28. Practice makes perfect. Ning Shi changed her clothes very fast. Half an hour later, she had changed from a little white rabbit dressed in home clothes to a handsome and unrestrained Prince Charming who could seduce people to death. Ning Shi chose a motorcycle outfit with messy short hair and a black looting leather motorcycle outfit. In the movie, there was a scene where the female lead rode a motorcycle to flirt with a girl. At that time, the male lead had already vaguely sensed that he had a strange feeling for the female lead. When he saw his good buddy flirting with the girl, he actually felt jealous. Thus, he struggled in various ways, thinking that he had fallen in love with the man. This was also one of the classic popular scenes in the movie that the fans loved to talk about. For this scene, Ning Shi even brought out her precious Xiao Hei, which she had spent a lot of money to assemble and maintain. "Dear, is my outfit okay?" Ning Shi messed up her bangs slightly and asked Lu Tingxiao, who was sitting on the sofa. Lu Tingxiao's gaze swept over the girl. "Yes, do you have a camera?" Ning Shi shook her head. "No need to be so troublesome. Just use your phone to take a picture. You don't have to be too deliberate. Although it's a pose, it's still a picture of life. I'll do a set of scenes later. Watch and take the picture." Lu Tingxiao nodded and took out his phone to prepare to take a picture. Ning Shi walked to the door, holding a handsome black helmet in one hand and pushed the door open with the other. After putting down the helmet, he opened the refrigerator door and took out a bottle of mineral water. After sitting down on the sofa, he seemed to have noticed that someone was filming him. While drinking, the young man suddenly raised his eyes toward the direction of the mobile phone's camera, and a smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. Click. This scene was fixed in the phone and in the man's eyes. Ning Shi was about to continue when she saw the man suddenly walking towards her with his phone. She thought that Lu Tingxiao wanted to take a close-up shot, but the man was getting closer and closer. Huh? Wasn't this a little too close? In the next second, the man's arm was by her side, and he leaned over, his thin lips covering hers without warning. Her teeth were pried open, and then it was the wanton invasion of the city gate. The man's kiss was getting hotter and hotter. Ningxi blinked her eyes in confusion. Then, she panted slightly and pushed the man. "Hey, cameraman, why aren't you professional?" The man's gaze deepened, and his low voice rang in her ears. "You seduced me." Ningxi was speechless. She raised her eyebrows and said, "Fuck. When did I seduce you?" The man's reply was an even more intense kiss, as if he was accusing her of seducing him again a second ago. Although the photographer was too unprofessional and easily distracted, taking a photo on and off for more than 2 hours, the photographer's professionalism was still very good. Just now, Ningxi saw that he just casually pressed the shutter, but found that every photo he took made her look handsome. She was about to turn gay from her own handsomeness. Sure enough, the Demon King was reliable, flirting with her and taking pictures at the same time. Ningxi was very satisfied. She saved all the photos and would use them when she needed them. That was a great shot. "I'm so happy to have a boyfriend who can take pictures." Ningxi gave the devil a kiss. Then she thought of something and her eyes lit up. "By the way, Lu Tingxiao, your role as Lin Yu is also very popular. Many fans have come to my Weibo to ask you about it. Do you want to start a Weibo or something? While I'm out, I'm eating while watching a chapter of PDA. I'll continue when I get back." Chapter 1229. "No," Lu Tingxiao said directly. Why?" Ningxi did not understand. Lu Tingxiao glanced at the girl. "I only want to please you." Ningxi was stunned at first, then she let out a cry, indicating that she had been shot in the heart. "Fuck, I only want to please you? That's too against the rules." Alright, she had subconsciously started to plan for Lu Tingxiao's career, but she had forgotten that this big boss was not acting for the sake of acting. If the entertainment industry was a game, Ningxi was a player who worked hard to kill monsters to level up, and Lu Tingxiao was a godlike existence like the game manager. The next day, the box office figures were released. The box office of Dream Seekers had steadily exceeded 500 million. I Only Like You was such a big production and publicity, and it was released 2 days earlier than Dream Seekers, but the box office was only slightly more than 500 million. Previously, after I Only Like You had exceeded 300 million, its growth had been very slow, and this was under the circumstance that Zheng Kangda and the others had spent money behind the scenes to buy the box office. On the other hand, the box office of Dream Seekers was rising rapidly. These days, other than shadow cinema, the screening rate for Dream Seekers was still very low on the surface, but in reality, after seeing the popularity of Dream Seekers, many cinemas could not help but secretly increase the number of screenings. For example, changing the small hall to a large hall, or changing the silent audience to a primetime screening. On the surface, the screening rate was still the same, but in reality, the number of people watching the movie had increased significantly. At first, because of Zheng Kangda, they had only used this method to secretly increase the number of screenings. But when they tasted the sweetness, when the figures for Dream Seeker were released in the morning, and when the news of Shadow Cinema's sales soaring from 8th place to 1st place was released, finally, all the cinemas could not sit still. Especially Cinema of 10,000, which had previously been in 1st place. They were filled with regret. Fuck, just because of Zheng Kangda, not only had they been scolded by the netizens, but they had also suffered heavy losses. Moreover, Shadow Cinema had taken advantage of the situation and suddenly surpassed them. It was a huge loss. This time, no matter how much money Zheng Kangda tried to bribe him, Cui Zhihao could no longer listen. "Director Zheng, you have seen the situation now. Because of you, I can no longer sit in my position as the general manager. No matter what, I have already done my best. Take a look at the comments online. It's not that I want to say this, but if the quality of your film was slightly better, it wouldn't have come to this." Not only did he ruin himself, but he also ruined the reputation of their cinema. How could Cui Zhihao not be angry? Zheng Kangda also knew that the current situation was irreversible, so he could only go back with a black face. Over the past few days, he had tried his best to suppress the movie theaters and had hired a large number of internet water armies in an attempt to reverse public opinion. In the end, the more he tried to reverse the situation, the fiercer the netizens' backlash became. In the end, it even reached the point where anyone who spoke up for "I only like you" would be bombarded by everyone. Apart from the internet, even the mainstream media had joined in. Almost all the front-page headlines were similar to this. Shen Mian, the king's return, creates another legend, might break the domestic box office record. The nation's daughter-in-law has become the nation's Prince Charming. Ning Shi, an actress who combines both idol and strength. I take you behind the scenes of Dream Seeker, making a movie honestly. The crew of I Only Like You buys fake reviewers and gets criticized by netizens. Chapter 1230. The more they suppressed it, the more intense the backlash. The public had long been enraged by the current state of domestic movies, and this time, Jinkangda felt the backlash from the entire population. On the same day, all the cinemas under House of Thousand Cinema increased the number of screenings for Dream Seeker to 50%. Following that, the other cinemas also began to increase the number of screenings for Dream Seeker. Some cinemas even increased the number of screenings to 60 to 70 in order to recoup their losses. In the conference room of Huaying Company. Compared to the tense atmosphere from a few days ago, all the shareholders' faces were filled with smiles. On the big screen in the conference room, it showed that Huaying Company's sales had soared to the top. The conference room was filled with compliments for Feng Jieyue. President Feng is indeed experienced. Those of us who don't know the industry can't do it. Not bad, not bad. Because we increased the number of screenings for Dream Seeker on the second day, everyone is now praising us for being the industry's conscience. The small losses in the first 2 days are not worth mentioning at all. This time, we jumped to the top of the industry because of President Feng's decisiveness. I heard that the other cinemas are also busy increasing the number of screenings. It's already been more than a week. It's too late to make up for it now, President Feng is indeed farsighted. I actually doubted President Feng's decision before. There are still many things that I need to learn from you. Deputy General Manager Zhang Yong, who had hoped to replace Feng Jieyue this time, had a pained fake smile on his face. How could he have known that this low-budget production would explode to such an extent? How could he have known that 10 years later, Shen Mian would create another legend? On Ning Shi's side, she received a call from Shen Mian early in the morning. Xiaoxi, the box office has exceeded 500 million, but don't post the photos yet. I've asked Shen Hanshan to prepare the 500 million bonus. Leave yours for the finale. Post it when it exceeds 1 billion. 1 billion? Ning Shi was a little confused. Why? You don't have confidence? Shen Mian's teasing voice came from the other end of the phone. Ning Shi smiled and said, as long as we have Director Shen's words, it will be fine. In the staff area of Lu Corporation. In the pantry, a few girls were gathered together and complaining. Did you guys buy the tickets for Dream Seeker? No, our theater added a lot of screenings today, but they were all sold out in less than 2 hours. It's scary. I managed to get 2 tickets. 2 of my friends wanted to go with me, but they didn't manage to get one either. While they were talking, 2 people suddenly walked into the tea room. Brother Bear. Brother Shao. Seeing the 2 personal bodyguards beside the CEO, the employees all greeted them politely. Without another word, Shi Shao and Xiong Ji took out a bunch of movie tickets. They were all tickets for Dream Seekers. Everyone was a little confused. Take it and distribute it to everyone. I'll give it to you for free. Shi Shao said with a face full of wealth. Let us know if it's not enough. Xiong Ji added. After the 2 of them left, everyone looked at each other in dismay. Then, they scrambled to get a seat and started discussing. What's going on? I don't know. Are they also crazy fans of Brother Shi? Do you think they like Brother She in women's clothes or Brother She in men's clothes? Cough, 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 he must be in women's clothes. But, it's possible that he's turned gay, he he he. Chapter 1231. Ning Shi's movie was getting more and more popular, and Shi Xiao and Xiong Ji were probably the happiest. Not only did they join the netizens who were seeking justice for dream seekers, but they also bought movie tickets out of their own pockets and invited the people around them to watch it for free. Moreover, they were VIP members of Ning Shi's global fan club. How could they not be happy? The lady boss was getting more and more popular, and it wasn't long before they took office. Because all the cinemas had increased the screening rate under the pressure of the public, the screening rate of Dream Seekers was like a rocket that began to soar, 600 million, 700 million, 800 million, 900 million. On the 10th day, Dream Seekers broke through the 1 billion mark. On the other hand, I Only Like You was still stuck at 500 million, and the rating on Sharing website was only 35. All the netizens cheered and celebrated spontaneously. This wasn't just a victory for one movie, but a victory for all of them. To put it more seriously, it could even be said to be a major event in the history of the Chinese film industry. In a high-end villa in the capital, Liang Biqin was crying in front of Su Yimo. Cousin. That woman was really too sinister. She was clearly trying to force me to my death and use my head as a stepping stone to get to the top. If it weren't for her, my movie would definitely be a hit, but now, everyone is scolding me. How am I going to survive in the industry in the future? Su Yimo looked at the pile of magazines and newspapers beside her, which were all praising Ning Shi, and her face darkened. When they found out that Ning Shi's new movie was a low-budget one, they didn't pay much attention to it. Who knew that this movie would be so popular? Cousin, this woman is very scheming. She wants to get rid of me first, and I'm afraid her next step will be to deal with you, cousin. Liang Biqin cried. Su Yimo sneered. Then she has to have the ability to do so. Liang Biqin sensed that there was a show in her tone, and immediately said with a flattering expression, "What ability can she have?" Cousin, you didn't do anything before. As long as you, cousin, take action, you can crush her with one finger. She's in the limelight now. If we go against her at this time, it'll be difficult for the company. Let's wait. What's more, a billion yuan box office for her movie is the highest it can go, Su Yimo said confidently. Cousin, you're too virtuous. You're even thinking about the company. Liang Biqin mumbled, then started sucking up to her. It's just a 1 billion yuan box office. Of course, it's nothing in your eyes. The highest box office of your movie has exceeded 1.8 billion yuan. That's twice as much as her. The outside world's judgment of Dream Seeker was basically the same as Su Yimo's. They believed that Dream Seeker would have limited room for growth after 1 billion yuan. Usually, the box office would grow the fastest in the first week. After that, it would almost stop rising. On the same day, Ning Shi followed her promise to Shen Mian and posted a set of photos of herself in men's clothing. Because Lu Tingxiao's photos were so good that almost every one of them was perfect. Ning Shi didn't want to waste any of them, so she directly collected 9 squares, which could be regarded as the welfare of her fans. Netizens had been complaining about Ning Shi's photos in men's clothes for several days. As soon as Ning Shi's Weibo post was sent out, it became a hot topic in just 2 hours and was forwarded over 100,000 times. This was simply the influence of an A-list big shot. Chapter 1232. After seeing this group of photos, under Ning Shi's Weibo, the young girls who were eagerly waiting were going crazy. Ah! The screen is so dirty. Why is my screen so dirty? Lick, lick, lick. My husband's home photos are even sexier. He's so handsome that my legs turn to jelly. How could you seduce me like this in a photo? You little devil. Amidst the flattery, many netizens found a problem. Don't you feel that Brother Shi's photos are inexplicably sweet in love? Yes, 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 yes. I feel like I'm in love at first sight. The way elder brother she looks at me is like looking at a lover he loves deeply. His eyes make my whole body go numb. Oh, I envy the photographer who took photos of brother she. I can be seduced by brother she at such a close distance. Ning Shi looked at the comments under the Weibo and finally understood Lu Tingxiao's reaction when he took photos of her that day. Well, it seemed that it was wrong to say that the devil was unprofessional. Was it true that she seduced him? No, it was the great demon king's fault for being too beautiful first, Ning Shi was thinking while touching her chin and reading the comments. Suddenly, her cell phone rang. It was Jiang Mai. Hello, what's up? I can't call you if there's nothing, superstar. Jiang Mai's voice came from the other end of the phone. Ning Shi said faintly, what? Are you jealous of me? Humph, it's still too early for me to be jealous of you. Jiang Mai said the same catchphrase again, but this time he sounded a little timid. What on earth do you want from me? Jiang Mai hesitated for a long time and then asked, who took those photos for you? Why do you ask this? Answer me first. Damn you. Who else could it be? Ning Shi answered in a matter-of-fact tone. Humph. I knew it. You can laugh like that. Jiang Mai hung up the phone with a pa sound. Ning Shi looked at the phone that had been hung up and was confused. What a lunatic. Did he call me just to ask me this? As soon as Jiang Mai hung up the phone, Shen Mian called. Xiaoxi, who took these photos for you? Unexpectedly, Shen Mian asked the same question as Jiang Mai. I asked a friend of mine to take it for me at home. Is there a problem? Ning Shi asked. Shen Mian immediately laughed and said, no problem, no problem. Your friend's photography skills are pretty good. This effect is too good. Then, she continued in an excited tone, did you know that I just received news that in the 2 hours after you posted the photo, all the movie tickets were sold out. This time, it's very likely that we'll break the box office record for a domestic movie in a single day. Really? Ning Shi only knew that the fans responded well to these photos, but she was surprised that the box office sales were so amazing. Shen Mian smiled and explained, it's understandable that our box office sales are so high this time. You're catching both male and female fans in one fell swoop. How can the box office not be high? Ahem, okay. This explanation was really irrefutable. So this is also what I want to remind you. You can't be too partial to female fans. When you break the record, you have to prepare a group of photos in women's clothes, and it's better to ask your friend who is good at taking photos for you. Shen Mian said as if she was doing something for the benefit of the male fans. Ning Shi chuckled and said, no problem. Chapter 1233. Coincidentally, the next day happened to be the national long holiday, and all the major cinemas gave Dream Seekers the highest screening rate. The holiday, the super high screening rate, and the promotional effect of Ning Shi's Weibo post, the timing, location, and people were all working together. On the morning of the third day, the box office figures for Dream Seekers were released, 82 billion. In just one day, 24 hours, the box office had reached a terrifying figure of 800 million, breaking the record of the king of comedy, Pang Sun's Joy last year, which was 79.8 billion on its opening day. Currently, the total box office had already reached 1.8 billion. If this situation continued, not only would it break the box office record for a single day, but it would also break the record for the total box office. Just when everyone thought that 1 billion was almost the peak, such a blowout box office figure and such a terrifying momentum shocked all the media and people in the industry. At the same time, as Shen Mian expected, there were waves of requests for Ning Shi to dress up as a woman on Weibo. Although Ning Shi dressed up as a man most of the time in the movie, the rarer something was, the more valuable it was. Not only did the few times she dressed up as a woman not go unnoticed, but it also left a deeper impression on the audience, especially by a large group of men. Many of the male audience's initial mentality was the same as Shen Hanshen and Qi Fang's. Because Ningxi acted so well, they completely forgot that she was a woman. Seeing that she was so popular with girls, especially those who had wives and girlfriends, and seeing their wives and girlfriends so infatuated with Ningxi, they couldn't help but feel upset. However, when they went to watch the movie together and saw the stunning female lead dressed up as a woman, they decisively became Ningxi's fanatical fans along with their wives. In the past, couples who were often jealous of each other's idols were unusually harmonious when they fell in love with the same idol at the same time, and their passion for idolizing their idols increased exponentially. Early in the morning, Ningxi's phone almost exploded with calls. They were all congratulatory messages, and of course, Shen Mian reminded her to prepare for the welfare benefits. Ningxi originally thought that even if she broke the record, it wouldn't be so fast. She didn't expect it to be broken after a day, so she hurriedly called the devil and made an appointment with him to help her take photos when he was done with work. In the afternoon, after Lu Tingxiao came over, Ningxi immediately bounced over and massaged his shoulders and back. "Mr. Boss, the photos you took last time were amazing. Director Shen asked me to invite you to take them again this time." Lu Tingxiao glanced at her and asked, "Are we going to shoot a cross-dressing shoot this time?" Ningxi nodded. Yes. Boss, you're so smart." "No." Lu Tingxiao directly said 2 words. "Ningxi." The great demon king actually refused. Ningxi looked disappointed. "Why?" "Lu Tingxiao, I can't help it." Hearing these words, Ningxi almost choked on her own saliva. It took her a long time to recover. She coughed and said, "But, you did a good job last time. Do you think that I can resist dressing as a man, but I can also resist dressing as a woman?" Lu Tingxiao said expressionlessly. "Don't overestimate my self-control." Ningxi, seeing Lu Tingxiao's resolute refusal, Ningxi felt a headache coming on. Was it really just because of this that this guy refused to film this time? Chapter 1234. The photo this time was quite important. Ningxi wanted to take the same quality and natural effect as the first time. She didn't want to hire a professional photographer who would look too deliberate, so she really didn't know who to look for a moment. Just as she was worrying, an idea suddenly flashed in her mind. "Ah! I got it. He wasn't the only reliable man in the family. Xiao Bao is almost out of school. I'll go pick him up." Ningxi said happily. She decided to ask Xiao Bao to help her take the photo this time. Things were different now. Since Ningxi became famous overnight, it was definitely not as convenient to go out as before. In the past, she often went out dressed as a man for convenience, but now it was safer to dress as a woman than a man. Fortunately, she had registered her parents' name as Tang Shi with the teacher. The reason for her appearance was that she looked like a big star. However, to be safe, Ningxi still didn't get out of the car. Lu Tingxiao went out to pick up Xiao Bao. Although it was Papa who came to pick him up from school today, Xiao Bao was very calm. Outside the car window, Ningxi saw the little fellow carrying a small school bag on his shoulder. Lu Tingxiao was holding his little hand, and he expressionlessly walked in the direction of the car with an iceberg face that was exactly the same as Lu Tingxiao's. The conversation between the father and son also made people very speechless. "Lu Tingxiao, what did the teacher teach at school today?" "Xiao Bao, I don't know." "Lu Tingxiao, how did you get along with your classmates? Did you chat with them?" "Xiao Bao, I was bored." "Lu Tingxiao, how did you do in the quiz this time?" "Xiao Bao, not bad." The father and son had a speechless conversation as they walked to the car. Lu Tingxiao stepped forward and opened the door of the back seat. Then, outside the door, Xiao Bao was suddenly stunned. "Mommy." The little fellow's expressionless face suddenly showed a soft and cute expression. He softly called out, "Mommy," and happily climbed into the car and threw himself into Mommy's arms. Xiao Bao. Ningxi hugged the little fellow and kissed him on his soft little face. "Mommy, are you here to pick me up?" The little fellow's eyes were as bright as stars in the sky. "Yes, but I didn't get out of the car because I was afraid of being recognized." "Xiao Bao, don't be mad at me." The little guy immediately shook his head vigorously. Xiao Bao will never be angry with Mommy. Xiao Bao is already very happy to be able to see Mommy. Lu Tingxiao was already used to his son's completely different expression when he saw Ningxi. The car started to move slowly. Ningxi was so touched that she immediately kissed the little guy again. Then, she hugged Xiao Bao and chatted, "Baby, what did the teacher teach you today?" "Mom, the teacher taught us arithmetic, drawing, and nursery rhymes." "Are you getting along well with your classmates?" "Did you talk to your friends in class?" "Mommy," Xiao Bao did. Xiao Bao listened to Mommy and chatted with the children. "Good boy." Xiao Baozi, who was praised, looked very happy. Then he turned his head, took out a test paper from his school bag, and unfolded it in front of Ningxi. "Mom, Xiao Bao got 100 points. Ningxi looked at the bright red full marks on the test paper and was even happier. "My Xiao Bao is the best." She knew that Xiao Bao didn't like to waste time on boring things, but he did a kindergarten-level test paper and got 100 points. It was obvious that he did it to make her happy. When she thought of this, her heart melted into a mess. Chapter 1235. In the driver's seat, Lu Tingxiao helplessly looked at his well-behaved and sweet-talking son in the rearview mirror. If he hadn't done the paternity test several times, he would have doubted whether this little guy was his own son. On the contrary, this little fellow and Ningxi seemed to be even closer than mother and son. Lu Tingxiao stared at the mother and son in a daze. Not only were the two of them getting along very well, even their small gestures and expressions were somewhat similar. Especially when they smiled, the corners of their eyes and the tips of their eyebrows were extremely similar. If Xiao Bao was really Ningxi's son, just as he thought of this, Lu Tingxiao shook his head with a sigh and got rid of this whimsical idea, Peach Blossom Cove. After arriving at the villa, Ningxi told Xiao Baozi that she wanted to ask him to take photos of her. Xiao Baozi immediately agreed and said that he was very happy to be able to help his mama. Ningxi was thinking about the style to be taken this time when Lin Jiji called. "Director Shen asked you to show the photos in women's clothes, right? Have you chosen the clothes?" Lin Jiji asked. "Well, not yet. I was just worrying about it." "Do you have sponsors?" Ningxi asked. "Yes, there are quite a few. But I suggest you wear your own brand," Lin Jiji suggested. "Sister Jiji, you mean Zealing?" "Oh, right. Why didn't I think of that?" Ningxi was pleasantly surprised. The past few days had been full of ups and downs, and she was a bit confused. She really didn't think of wearing Zealing's clothes to take photos. She had reported to Lin Jiji that she had founded Zealing, so Lin Jiji had always known about it and supported it. It was her own brand and matched her temperament very well. It was indeed a good fit. The most important thing for you now is not the sponsorship money. After Zealing becomes popular, it will be very good for your future development. Lin Jiji analyzed. "Yes, but what series should I choose?" "A ready-to-wear series." "A ready-to-wear series?" Ningxi thought that Lin Jiji would ask her to wear haute couture. "You became popular this time because of the support of thousands of people. You have a broad mass base. It's much better to be down-to-earth than to suddenly develop in a high-end direction. Most of your fans are ordinary young people. Although ready-made clothes aren't cheap, most working people can afford one. From this point of view, a ready-to-wear line that was slightly more affordable was indeed much better than a luxurious and expensive custom-made line." Gao Ding could have waited for her strength to stabilize before he promoted her. Thinking of this, Ningxi immediately said, "Okay, I got it. Thank you, big sis Jiji. I'll send it to you when it's done. There were ready-made clothes for Zai Ling at home, so Ning Shi directly chose 9 sets from the wardrobe. Ning Shi changed into the first floral dress and walked out. Xiao Bao, can we start now? Xiao Bao nodded with a serious expression. Then, he raised the phone with one hand and gestured something in the air with the other. Ning Shi couldn't help laughing. Was this some special way of taking photos? But forget it, as long as Xiao Bao is happy. Soon, all 9 sets of clothes were taken. Ning Shi looked through the photos one by one, and the more she looked, the more surprised she became. Even though she wasn't a professional, she could tell that compared to the casual and languid photos that Lu Tingxiao had taken for her, the composition of each photo that Xiao Bao had taken for her was precise to the golden point, so that each photo looked like an oil painting or a blockbuster. It seemed that the little guy had applied all the composition skills he had learned in painting to taking photos. Chapter 1236. The more Ning Shi looked at it, the more she liked it. She said excitedly, "Baby, how can you be so talented? Mommy looks so good in this photo." Little Baozi looked up at Mama and said seriously, "It's because Mommy looks good." Ning Shi covered her chest to show that she had been shot by an arrow. Oh my, even before Xiao Bao could speak, she had already been overwhelmed by his cuteness. Now that this little fellow had learned to speak, his mouth was so sweet that she couldn't resist him at all. Even if he wanted the stars in the sky, she would probably climb up and pluck them for him. Before posting on Weibo, Ning Shi sent the photos to Lin Jiji and Shen Mian. While waiting for their replies, Ning Shi saw Lu Tingxiao looking at his cell phone from the corner of her eye. She found that Lu Tingxiao was looking at her photo, and it was taken just now. Like a ghost, Ning Shi stuck her head out from behind and snorted. "Lu Tingxiao, I found you. How dare you take photos of me? Didn't you say you didn't want to take photos? Why are you taking photos? Let me see." She wouldn't allow Lu Tingxiao to have ugly photos of her in his cell phone. Lu Tingxiao didn't avoid her and let her snatch his cell phone. Ning Shi immediately took the cell phone and looked through it. The more she looked, the redder her face became. Finally, she glared at the man on the sofa. "Pervert." Lu Tingxiao raised his eyebrows. He seemed to be in a good mood after being scolded. There was a teasing smile in his eyes. Huh? Looking at his innocent expression, Ning Shi was even angrier. Huh, my ass. They were all the same photos, but when taken by different people, they gave off completely different feelings. Xiao Bao had taken a picture of her in such a lofty and intimate manner. However, in Lu Tingxiao's photo, her entire body was filled with a seductive aura. Even a casual gaze from him seemed to be seducing him, causing her old face to turn red. It really proved that what you see in your heart is what you see. However, in all fairness, Lu Tingxiao's photos were indeed more attractive to the fans. Just as Ning Shi was making calculations in her mind, Lu Tingxiao's slender fingers grabbed the cell phone. Obviously, he had seen through her plan. Ning Shi puffed her cheeks. Stingy. She finally understood why Lu Tingxiao didn't want to take pictures of her. This guy was 100 times more seductive when he took pictures of her cross-dressing than when he took pictures of her cross-dressing. Humph, forget it if you don't want to give it to me. My son is even better. Little Steamed Bun nodded his head in agreement. At this time, Lin Jiji and Shen Mian replied one after another. Both of them were full of praise for the photos. Xiaoxi, this group is also very good, although it's a completely different style. Your friend's style is quite unpredictable. Shen Mian said on the other end of the phone. Cough, yes. One was the father and the other was the son. How could their styles not be different? After the two reviewed the photos, Ning Shi posted them on Weibo. After that, Ning Shi remembered that she still had something to tell the company, so she called Han Momo. Momo, brother Shi. Ah. Brother Shi, you actually called me. Before Ning Shi finished her words, Han Momo's scream came from the other end of the phone. It was so excited that it almost broke her eardrum. Chapter 1237. Looking at Han Momo's excited reaction, Ningxi was speechless. Honey. Why are you so excited? It's not like you can't see me in person. But I've never seen you in men's clothes before. Boss, you look so handsome in men's clothes. Can you give me some employee benefits? I really want to see you in men's clothes. Forget it. Ningxi chuckled. Why not? Han Momo was disappointed. Ningxi chuckled. I'm afraid you'll regret it for the rest of your life. Han Momo couldn't stand it anymore. Brother Shi, don't talk to me like that. My heart can't stand it. Oh, my God. If your crazy fans know I'm talking to you on the phone and that I'm your employee, they will envy me to death. Well, I won't tease you anymore. Let's get down to business. Momo, tell the factory to get ready. We may increase the production of ready-made clothes at any time. The sales may increase recently. Ningxi urged. Why? Check my latest Weibo. Oh, I'll do it right away. Han Momo said and opened Weibo. After a while, Han Momo screamed even more excitedly than before. Boss. You're too modest. It's more than a lot. I guess the warehouse will explode. These are just ordinary ready-made clothes, and the price is not high. Why is it that when they are worn by you, the effect is the same as the high-end custom-made clothes from luxury brands that cost millions each? There are already a lot of people asking about it. Han Momo said excitedly while typing to reply to some fans' questions on Weibo. Brother Ao Shi is so beautiful. I thought I was only a fan of Brother Shi's men's clothes. Now I'm really gay. In these photos, Brother Shi is so gentle. I feel like I'm cured. P.S. Please ask the brand of Brother Shi's clothes. I like his style so much. I like it too. But it's expensive. It costs at least tens of millions. I guess it's a limited edition. We can't afford it. Han Momo quickly typed, I know. The clothes that Brother Shi was wearing were from a brand called Zealing, and they were not that expensive at all. They could be bought for a few thousand yuan. Zealing's custom-made clothes were indeed very expensive, but these were just ordinary ready-made clothes, so they were not that difficult to buy. They were sold in Zealing specialized stores. At present, there were 6 Zealing specialized stores in the capital, and their addresses were. City Q specialized store's address was. For more information, you can log on to Zealing's official website. Soon, Han Momo's detailed answer was liked by enthusiastic netizens and became a hot topic. There had been some photos of Ningxi in women's clothes in her Weibo, but different from those female stars who often posted photos on their Weibo, most of Ningxi's Weibo were stills or playful photos. She rarely showed herself, and there was no selfie. Among the female stars, Ningxi was a weirdo. Therefore, this time, he sent out 9 photos in a row, which was a feast for the eyes of the fans. The feeling of being a Prince Charming in one Weibo post and a goddess in the next was simply too magical. Be it male or female fans, they were all amazed by it. In addition to being amazed, many of Ningxi's male fans also asked about the clothes, saying that they would also buy them for their wives and girlfriends. The promotional effect on Zealing was better than Ningxi had imagined. As for the box office, it would depend on the next few days. Chapter 1238. Currently, only half of the screening time for Dream Seekers had passed, and the total box office had already exceeded 1.8 billion yuan. Therefore, no one dared to predict how the box office would go in the future. Usually, the length of a movie's screening was based on the box office of the movie. If it was too bad, it would basically be a 3-day trip to the cinema, and there were even many movies that would stop screening after one day. For example, Ning Xueluo's recently unpopular literary film, The Mountain, had a pitifully low box office and a bad reputation. Originally, it was planned to last at least half a month before stopping screening, but in the end, even for the sake of Starlight Entertainment, it did not last 3 days. During this period, all the cinemas were trying their best to make space for dream seekers. How could they be willing to waste space on a movie that did not have a high attendance rate? At this time, it did not matter how many cards they had, the box office was the most important. And with the popularity of Dream Seekers, it would take at least a month for it to be screened. In the early stages, the box office of Dream Seekers was mainly due to the quality of the movie itself and the exciting performances of the lead actors. Towards the end, the power of the director, Shen Mian, began to show. Back then, Shen Mian's first film, Stars, Moon, Sun, was popular all over the country and was named Asian Star by American Business Weekly. The main character in the film was extremely popular and was now a big sister and a big brother in the entertainment industry. After that, the youth-themed film Love in the Future won the box office that year and led to a large number of youth movies and trends. It was precisely because Shen Mian's starting point was so high that the audience's expectations of him were also very high. This caused him to be criticized for compromising with the investors and the market. The media had always been one to step on the high and praise the low. After Shen Mian made another glorious achievement, almost all the print and online media were praising Shen Mian, saying that they owed Shen Mian a movie ticket. The big brothers and sisters in the entertainment industry who had been made famous by Shen Mian also spontaneously helped to promote the movie. 10 years ago, a large number of Shen Mian's fans also walked into the cinema for Shen Mian. Even if Zhang Kangda was hopping mad, he could only watch helplessly. The trend was irreversible. A month later, the total box office of Dream Seekers was out, 327.5 billion. It broke the record of 24.8 billion box office of Happiness, firmly taking the throne of the box office in the history of the Chinese film industry, creating a miracle in the history of the Chinese film industry. In the movie, everyone from the leading actors to the supporting actors became popular, especially the leading actress, Ning Shi, and the leading actor, Shen Hanchen. They became famous overnight and suddenly squeezed into the ranks of A-list actors. Ning Shi's film contracts, endorsements, variety shows, all rushed to Lin Jiji's case. The company of the game that Ning Shi and Jiang Mai had endorsed together was overjoyed. They had spent 1 million yuan to hire Ning Shi to endorse for 5 years. Now, they had made a huge profit. Of course, some people were happy, while others were worried. Starlight Entertainment. Chang Li came to the company as usual, but all the colleagues looked at her strangely and whispered to each other. Have you heard? The box office of Ningshi's movie has exceeded 3 billion. It's definitely the Chinese box office champion. It has broken more than 20 records. Nonsense, how could she not have heard of such a big thing? I saw someone posting it in the group early in the morning. Everyone said. Chang Li is probably regretting it so much that her intestines will turn green. Pfft. That's right. I forced Ning Shi to leave for Ning Xueluo. But Ning Shi became famous when she went to Golden Era. Chapter 1239. Recently, with the success of Dream Seekers, Ning Shi's popularity had soared and Lin Jiji had returned to her peak as a top manager. Chang Li, on the other hand, had been ridiculed for having poor taste. All of this had made her so anxious that she almost went crazy. If Ning Shi was still her artist, if she had not kicked her out of Starlight, all the glory would have been hers now. She would have been the one being envied and admired. Her career would have taken a big step forward, and most importantly, she would have had such a big money tree. But now, she could only watch as everything that should have belonged to her fell into Lin Jiji's hands, and she had personally given it to her. The most ironic thing was that, in order to win an award, Ning Xuelua had made up her mind to shoot some cold-blooded art film. In the end, the box office was terrible, and the reputation of the film was not good either. She had lost all her face, and now, she had to bear the wrath of that rich missy. Ning Xuelua looked at Changli, who was silent. Her eyes were filled with malice and mockery. She stroked her nails and sneered. How is it? Seeing how popular Ningxi is now, do you regret it? Regret terminating the contract with Ningxi? In this online war, Ning Xuelua had put in a lot of effort. She had been secretly helping Liang Biqin to buy fake reviewers to suppress dream seekers. After her manipulation failed, she had tried to make The Mountain imitate the way dream seekers had become popular. Who knew that it would fail so badly that even its own mother would not recognize it? What she hated the most was that the bitch's movie not only trampled on her, but also helped Zhe Ling to do publicity, which affected history. It was obvious that she was deliberately going against her. Hearing Ning Xuelua's words, Changli could not admit it even if she thought so. She forced herself to reply, Xuelua, look at what you're saying. How can I be so short-sighted? There are many people who become famous overnight in the entertainment industry, but how many of them can really go far? She is just feeling proud for a moment. It's just a melodramatic comedy. So what if the box office is high? When our film wins an award, it will still slap her in the face. However, the reality was that although their film was made by a famous director, the industry's reviews were not good. If they wanted to get a real award, it would be very difficult. It all depended on whether Ning Xuelua had enough connections and whether she could get through to the judges. Perhaps Ning Xuelua was satisfied with Chang Li's answer. She did not say anything for the time being. She snorted and said, go ahead. The higher she climbs, the faster she will die. Chang Li rolled her eyes. She knew that Ning Xuelua was referring to Su Yimo. She would definitely make a move. This Ning Shi was really strange. She was suppressed by Su Yimo and Liang Biqin, but she was still able to stand out. It was said that Liang Biqin deliberately stole I Only Like You last time, so Ning Shi could only take Shen Mian's small production. Who would have thought that this small production would be so popular? Isn't this woman's luck a little too good? However, with Su Yimo's backing, it would be easier than killing an ant if they really wanted to mess with her. It didn't matter how famous she was. Ning Shi's good days were coming to an end. At the same time, at Xingshi Entertainment, Ning Shi was wearing a new gown that had not been released yet. She was wearing sunglasses, and Xiao Tao was by her side. As soon as they stepped into the company, they caused a commotion. Chapter 1240. Seeing her, the staff members who used to ignore her all came up to her. The newcomers who were training also flocked to her after hearing the news, complimenting her in all sorts of ways. Brother Shi. Brother Shi, can I have your autograph? I'm a fan of yours. Senior. You're amazing. I don't know when I'll be like you. Sister Shi, you haven't been to the company for a long time. I didn't expect to see you today. Fortunately, I didn't change shifts. Can I take a picture with you? Not only Ning Shi, but even Xiao Tao was surrounded by a lot of people. Previously, she was Lang Manyan's assistant. Later, she was exiled to Ning Shi's side. Many people gloated over her misfortune, but now the way they looked at her had obviously changed. Xiao Tao, you're so lucky. You followed Sister Manyun, and now Ning Shi is so popular. That's right. You were right to follow Sister Lin and listen to her arrangements. Sister Lin has such good taste. Don't forget us sisters when you become rich. After being delayed outside for a while, Ning Shi and Xiao Tao finally got rid of those people and went to Lin Jiji's office. Humph, they're all a bunch of people who step on the powerful and flatter the weak. Let's see if they dare to look down on us in the future. Xiao Tao said with a proud expression as she poured water for Ning Shi. Lin Jiji didn't need Xiao Tao to say it. Lin Jiji had guessed what might have happened outside just now. She looked indifferent and didn't say anything. She handed a dense itinerary to Ning Shi, saying, "This is your approximate itinerary for the next month. We will adjust it later." Then she handed a few documents over. "This is the specific information of some recent announcements. Take a look. As for the new film, there are a lot of scripts, but you need to choose carefully. There's no rush for now. Sister Jiji, you've worked hard." Looking at the heavy dark circles under Lin Jiji's eyes, Ning Shi took the documents gratefully. She saw that the top one was related to Beauty's private restaurant. Ning Shi glanced at it. "Oh, the director invited me and Shen Hanshen on the show?" Lin Jiji nodded. "Yes, I've thought about it. This show is very suitable for you. I think the audience would like to see you and Shen Hanshen together." "Well." Ning Shi scratched her head, put her palms together and looked at Lin Jiji. "Sister Jiji, I have a presumptuous request." "What's wrong?" Lin Jiji asked. "Can we invite Kumingyu as the male guest of this show?" Ning Shi pleaded. Lin Jiji was a little surprised to hear this, and then looked at her thoughtfully. Ning Shi coughed dryly. "Please don't misunderstand, Sister Jiji. I just want to help Kumingyu because I owe him a favor. Besides, he's also an artist of golden age now. It's not a bad idea to help him, right?" Lu Tingxiao had assigned the identity of Kumingyu to an ordinary agent in Xingshi Entertainment. Lin Jiji thought for a while. Actually, Kumingyu is quite popular with the fans because he keeps a low profile. It's fine to invite him. Just like you said, he's also an artist of the same company. However, the director is more interested in Shen Hanshen's popularity. I'm afraid it won't be easy to convince him. Ning Shi immediately patted her chest. "That's easy. I can tell the director that as long as they agree to invite Kumingyu as the male guest, I can wear men's clothes on the show." I shouldn't have acted on my own. But I really thought that you would be satisfied with the male guests I invited this time. If Ning Shi didn't go up, what was the use of him inviting Shen Hanshen? Even though they were both protagonists in the movie, Ning Shi was much more popular than Shen Hanshen. If only the two of them could fight together. Sigh, what a waste of such an opportunity to make the show popular. Wang Xiaoyuan had no choice but to bear with the pain and say, "Miss Ning, don't be angry. I promise you, whoever you want. We will do our best to accommodate all your requests." Chapter 1242. Wang Xiaoyuan really didn't understand why Ning Shi insisted on having Kumingyu on the show. Was it because the senior management of Xingshi Media wanted to promote Kumingyu, so they asked Ning Shi to be his coach? It was quite possible. Hearing Wang Xiaoyuan's words, Ning Shi didn't push him. "Thank you for keeping your promise, Director Wang. As for the ratings, don't worry. I will dress up as a man." As soon as he finished speaking, Wang Xiaoyuan was almost dizzy from the sudden pie in the sky. "You. What did you say? Miss Ning, do you mean that you are willing to dress up as a man and appear on our show?" Wang Xiaoyuan couldn't believe his ears. So many popular programs had invited Ning Shi to dress up as a man and appear on their programs, but Ning Shi had rejected them all. So although he also wanted Ning Shi to dress up as a man and appear on their programs, he didn't dare to mention it, because he knew it was absolutely impossible. Unexpectedly, Ning Shi took the initiative to propose it. How could he not be happy? Not to mention the designated male guest, he would agree to any request. Miss Ning, don't worry. I will do a good job on this show. If you have any other requirements, just tell me. I will explain it to Shen Hanshen so that you won't have any worries. Wang Xiaoyuan hung up the phone excitedly and hurried to report the good news to the others. Lin Zhizhi looked at Ning Shi with deep eyes. In fact, Ning Shi didn't have to agree to dress up as a man and appear on the show, but she still did it. She was extremely attentive towards Kumingyu. It was normal for Ning Shi to fall in love with a man at her age. As long as she knew her limits, it was okay. But she was a little surprised. Why did she fall in love with Kumingyu? Then Shen Hanshen's agent, Qing Yanan, received a call from the program team of Beauty's private restaurant. After the call, Qing Yanan walked to the theater and found Shen Hanshen, who was watching a movie. On the big screen of the home theater, Dream Hunter was playing. He had watched this film over and over again 800 times, but he didn't feel bored. Qing Yanan shook her head helplessly and said, Hanshen, the program team of Beauty's private restaurant, just called. Because of some accidents, the male guest has been changed. Changed? Who? Shen Hanshen looked away from Ning Shi's face in women's clothes and turned to his agent. Kumingyu, Qing Yanan replied. Shen Hanshen's expression instantly changed. What? Why was there a sudden change? I heard that Ningxi agreed to appear on the show on the condition that the male guest must be Kumingyu. Maybe Golden Era wants to promote Kumingyu. Qing Yanan explained. Upon hearing this, Shen Hanshen's expression turned even uglier. He kicked over the seat in front of him and said, You're just going to watch as my show is snatched away? Qing Yanan was puzzled by Shen Hanshen's anger. It's just a cooking show. There are many other shows that are more popular than this. There's no need to dwell on this matter, and there's no need to fight with Xingshi. Moreover, Ningxi has promised Kumingyu that she will appear on the show dressed as a man. With such a condition, Beauty's private restaurant will definitely listen to her. When Qing Yanan saw that Shen Hanshen's mood had not only not eased, but his expression had also worsened. Qing Yanan crossed her arms and looked at her artist with a thoughtful expression. Chapter 1243. After leaving the company, Ningxi immediately ran to the Platinum Palace to ask the devil for credit. Mr. Boss, the guest for the next episode of Beauty's private restaurant has been decided. We can go on a date tomorrow, Ningxi said cheerfully. On the sofa, Lu Tingxiao put down the book in his hand and hugged the girl who ran over excitedly. Yes, Qing Feng told me just now. Lu Tingxiao was working for an ordinary second-rate agent named Su Tao in Xingshi Entertainment, but all his activities as Kumingyu were actually handled by his special assistant, Qing Feng. Humph, that director is so disloyal. He even wanted to go back on his word and invite Shen Hanshen, but I rejected him decisively. Ningxi said, Don't worry, baby, I'll support you. What do you want to eat, sweetheart? I'll make it for you. Seeing the girl's happy face, Lu Tingxiao was also infected. He gently stroked the girl's hair. Anything is fine. Ningxi thought for a moment. Then I'll decide. You'll be responsible for eating, Lu Tingxiao said, okay. Ow, 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 Ningxi and Lu Tingxiao were talking sweetly to each other. With a howl, a figure ran in from outside the door. It was Lu Jingli. He was watching something on his cell phone and howling angrily, Brother. How can you do this? You've gone too far. Last time, when I wanted to be a male guest, you wouldn't let me do it no matter what. But now, you're actually using public tools for your own benefit and opening a backdoor for yourself. It's like only the officials are allowed to set fires, but the people are not allowed to light lamps. This is unfair. Lu Jingli was obviously talking about Lu Tingxiao's appearance on the show. In order to build momentum, the program team had released the news that Ning Shi and Ku Mingyu would appear on the next episode. The audience had been very excited when Ning Shi appeared on the show last time, and this time, they were all looking forward to it. But many of them were a bit disappointed that the male guest wasn't Shen Hanshen, the male lead of Dream Seeker. Of course, some of the audience who liked Ku Mingyu also expressed their expectations. This was the first time Ku Mingyu appeared on a variety show after his movie became popular. As for the fact that Ning Shi would dress up as a man, the production team hadn't made it public yet. The netizens were left to speculate and discuss whether Ning Shi would dress up as a man or a woman. Ning Shi looked at Lu Jingli, who was complaining, and raised her eyebrows. "Stop howling. Who said your brother opened the back door for himself? He joined the show based on his own ability." Lu Jingli's face was full of disbelief when he heard that. "That's impossible. Don't try to bluff me. As far as I know, the male guest was Shen Hanshen at the beginning, but in the end, it was changed to my brother. My brother must have used some special means to cut it off." Ning Shi rolled her eyes at him. "Bullshit. I told the crew that I wouldn't be on the show if the male guest was not your brother." Lu Jingli clutched his throat, almost choking on the dog food. Do you still have any humanity?" After saying that, he roared, "You call this a test of strength?" Ning Shi said matter-of-factly, "Of course not. I'm your brother's woman. My strength is your brother's strength, isn't it? Sweetheart, oh?" Ning Shi said and kissed Lu Tingxiao on the cheek. Lu Tingxiao's eyes were full of affection. "Okay." Lu Jingli was speechless. "I'm definitely not your biological brother or brother-in-law." Chapter 1244. On the day of the shooting. In front of the Capital TV station building, a large number of fans gathered in front of the TV station after learning that Ning Shi would come to the station to record the program today. The crowd was so dense that it was almost impossible to see the end of it. A moment later, a black nanny car stopped in front of the door. Then, Ning Shi in a light gray British-style suit got out of the car. As soon as they saw Ning Shi in men's clothes, the fangirls on the scene went crazy. Some even almost fainted on the spot. "Ah, ah, 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 ah. Brother Shi. Brother Shi. Brother Shi. Look over here. Ah. Hubby, I love you. Hubby, I want to give birth to a monkey for you." Shi Xiao and Xiong Ji had officially taken up their posts. The two of them were wearing black suits and sunglasses. They were tall and sturdy, guarding Ning Shi like door gods, isolating her from the crowd. Listening to a group of girls shouting that they wanted to give birth to the lady boss's children, the two of them almost collapsed at this moment. One of the girls was so excited that she forcibly broke through the line of defense of the security guards and rushed towards Ning Shi. Shi Xiao immediately stretched out his iron arm to block her with a dark expression. The girl leaned back because of inertia and was about to fall. Ning Shi quickly stepped forward and reached out to hold the girl's shoulder. Then she looked in Shi Xiao's direction with some displeasure. "Hey, be gentle to my women." "Ah, ah, 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 ah." The screams on the scene almost broke through the sky. Facing the group of girls who were even more crazy and almost couldn't suppress them, all the security guards, including Shi Xiao and Xiong Ji, were on the verge of collapse. "Brother, don't increase our workload." At this moment, Shi Xiao and Xiong Ji looked at each other and both of them were 120% alert. They used to look down on being a celebrity's bodyguard, thinking that it was too easy. Now it seemed that it was definitely not an easy job, because not only did they have to protect the lady boss, but they also couldn't hurt the fans. Most importantly, the lady boss was too popular now, and the fans were all girls. They were so crazy that it was terrifying. After some trouble, Ningxi finally arrived at the studio smoothly. Ah! Sister Shi is here. Oh, brother Shi is so handsome in men's clothes. She is even more charming in real life than in the movie. Oh my god, I can't do it. Unfortunately, brother Shi has already done his own makeup. What a pity that I can't do it today. The last time I came, she was obviously a super beauty. It's amazing. I always had a feeling that Ningxi would become popular, but I didn't expect her to become popular so quickly and to such an extent. No wonder he's so popular. He's popular with both men and women. I can already predict the viewership ratings for this episode. It's a pity that the male guest this time is Kumingyu. If it was Shinhanshin, that would be perfect. I heard that Shinhanshin will also come to the station today to record another program. Oh, that's true. Kumingyu's character in the movie is quite elegant, but looking at him in person, he's really too ordinary. His looks are unrecognizable, and he doesn't have any sense of existence at all. As soon as she arrived, Director Wang Xiaoyuan and the others came over to say hello to her. Ningxi glanced around and saw that Lu Tingxiao had already arrived. After saying hello to everyone, she directly ran to the rest area to find him. Kiki, you're early. Senior. Seeing Ningxi, Lu Tingxiao greeted her and instantly entered Kumingyu mode. When Ningxi heard the great demon king call her senior, she almost laughed out loud. However, every time she heard the great demon king call her senior, she felt quite happy. Chapter 1245. After a little preparation, the shooting of the show began. Hello, everyone. As you all know, the female guests of our beauty's private restaurant are all beautiful women. This time, of course, it is the same. However, the beauty we invited today is a little special. I think many people already know who she is. She is our Ningxi. The host, Zhu Xiaoan, excitedly invited Ningxi onto the stage. As soon as he finished speaking, the audience immediately let out an excited exclamation and held up the sign with Ningxi's name. Hello, everyone. Long time no see. I'm very happy to come to our show again. Ningxi, dressed in a light gray suit, bowed like a gentleman. The audience screamed incessantly. The host Zhu Xiaoan's eyes lit up. He stood close to Ningxi calmly and reached out to touch Ningxi's lapel. He said in an exaggerated tone, "Oh my god, I can't believe my eyes. Last time you came here, you were a great beauty, but this time you have become the national Prince Charming, the dream lover of all girls. Of course, it is also mine." Seeing the host touching Ningxi at such a close distance and flirting with her, the audience screamed with excitement and jealousy. The host chatted with Ningxi for a long time. It was not until the director reminded her that she reluctantly said, "Let's welcome today's male guest, Kumingyu, who plays the role of Lin Yu in Dream Seeker." After Kumingyu stepped onto the stage, the host said a few words and then immediately changed the topic to Ningxi. "Brother Shi, what kind of delicious food will you bring to us today?" Ningxi glanced at Kumingyu next to her. "Today's food is quite ordinary, egg-wrapped rice, but it's very suitable for everyone to cook for their loved ones." Wow! Beloved ones. Several fans of Ji Feishue and Lin Yu hugged each other excitedly. Zhu Xiaoan was still a little dissatisfied that the male guest today was changed from Shinhanshin to Kumingyu. He deliberately ignored Kumingyu on the stage and didn't throw the topic to him. At this moment, he just casually said, "I'm looking forward to it. It seems that our male guest is in luck today. So, can we start now?" Ningxi asked. Of course. The host greeted him with a smile and asked shyly, "Brother Shi, what can I do for you? Can I help you cut the vegetables?" Not only did she ignore the male guests, but she also wanted to steal the male guests' jobs. Ningxi understood what Zhu Xiaoan meant. She said with a faint smile, "A girl's hand is not for this kind of thing. Leave it to a man." Hearing this, although she was rejected, Zhu Xiaoan was still excited, and the audience below were all bewitched by her. After successfully protecting him, Ningxi walked to the stove that had been prepared. In order to give the audience the greatest visual enjoyment, Ningxi was wearing a British-style suit with many layers. She looked very handsome, but it was a little inconvenient to cook. As soon as she stood in front of the stove, Kumingyu, who had almost no presence since the beginning, tacitly walked in front of her and meticulously helped her roll up her sleeves. She didn't even need to say anything before Kumingyu, who had almost no presence since the beginning, walked up to her and meticulously helped her roll up her sleeves. "Thank you." Ningxi looked at the man's eyes and smiled. Chapter 1246. This was obviously a very ordinary scene, but for some reason, when these two people did it, it gave people a sweet romantic feeling of being wrapped in pink bubbles. The fangirls in the audience blushed and their hearts raced at this scene. "Oh, my girl's heart. Why do I feel like I'm being abused? Ah. I'm going crazy. What a hobby and love. I like Lin Yu and Ji Feishua the most. I didn't expect them to be so compatible in reality. My little heart is about to die." Well, although I've always been on the side of the male lead and the female lead, when these two are together, they do give people a very harmonious feeling. Don't you think Kumingyu's aura is really super strong? There's a kind of aristocratic aura in his every move. And this kind of aura is definitely not faked. Every time I see it, I have a feeling of palpitation. Even Zhu Xiaoan, who had ignored Kumingyu several times, had to admit that Kumingyu did have a special attraction at this moment. After Ningxi thanked him, she tilted her head slightly and whispered to Kumingyu what she needed his help to do. Kumingyu nodded slightly and went to prepare the ingredients. Every word and every little interaction between the two was very compatible. The audience reacted as if they were watching a romantic comedy. From time to time, there were bursts of excited screams. Director Wang Xiaoyuan didn't expect that the effect of these two people on the show would be so good. At this moment, he was already grinning from ear to ear. Originally, he wanted Zhu Xiaoan to create more gimmicks and sparks for the two, but he found that the natural warm and romantic atmosphere of the two was better, so he completely let them do whatever they wanted. The audience below the stage were all very satisfied with this result. Oh. I feel that I'm not here to watch a food show, but to watch the extras of Dream Seekers! Yes. The sweet married life of Ji Feishua and Lin Yu. It's so lovely. With the cooperation of Kumingyu, Ningxi soon finished making the omelette rice. After wrapping the super good rice with eggs, Ningxi picked up the ketchup on the side, thought for a while, and then wrote on the omelette rice, "I love you." Seeing Ningxi write, "I love you," on the omelette rice, the screams from the audience almost broke through the roof. They were all shouting Ningxi and Kumingyu's names. The director hurriedly reminded the cameraman to give a close-up of Ningxi's words, his face full of satisfaction. This time, the program could totally use Dream Seekers as a gimmick to attract the audience. He actually made a food show into an idol drama. He was a genius. This episode was definitely more popular than he had expected. Now he was really glad that he had promised Ningxi to invite Kumingyu. Chapter 1247. After the recording of today's show, as an Easter egg, Ningxi specially made a few dishes for the audience and fans. The excited girls all shouted that they wanted to marry her. In the end, there was even a shy boy who ran over to confess his love to her, in the unoccupied lounge backstage. As soon as the door closed, Ningxi was covered in overwhelming kisses. He had wanted to do that when he saw the words, "I love you," on the omelette rice. "Oh, are you angry?" Ningxi thought that Lu Tingxiao was jealous because of the fans' reactions. Lu Tingxiao said, "I'm not angry." Ningxi raised an eyebrow. "Are you sure?" He sighed softly and kissed her again. "I'm the only one who can treat you like this." Okay, he couldn't refute that, in front of the TV station building. It wasn't convenient for Ningxi to go with Ku Mingyu, so they went home separately. "Cuckoo, I'm leaving first." "Okay, be careful on the road." Ku Mingyu watched as the girl's car left. After Ningxi left, Ku Mingyu was about to leave when someone suddenly walked over. Shen Hanshan stopped next to him and lit a cigarette. He looked at him with a faint smile and said in a mocking tone, "Ku Mingyu, how does it feel to live off a woman?" Ku Mingyu glanced at Shen Hanshan. He didn't fly into a rage like Shen Hanshan had expected. He said expressionlessly, "Not bad." After saying that, the man drove away. Shen Hanshan stood there for a long time before he came back to his senses. He threw away the cigarette in his hand and was so angry that his handsome face was contorted. To a man, living off a woman was definitely the biggest insult. He had deliberately used this to humiliate him, but who knew that his reaction would be like this? After getting into the car, Shen Hanshan was still on the verge of exploding. Qing Yanan hurriedly comforted him. "Hanshan, why are you so calculative with this kind of person? He's already living off a woman. Does he have any shame?" Shen Hanshan was young and impetuous. He immediately said angrily, "How am I not as good as Ku Mingyu? Why is she willing to go through so much effort to help that wimp and not even look at me?" Qing Yanan coughed softly. She thought to herself, liking someone isn't something that can be explained with just a few words. Besides, who told you to dislike her when you were filming? She took advantage of you for nothing. Of course, she would not say it out loud to anger the man in front of her. Instead, she comforted him, "Hanshan, I think you're overthinking it. Ku Mingyu has signed with Golden Era, and Ningxi is probably just helping him. By the way, you told me last time that you wanted to poach Ningxi to join our Fengxing. Actually, it's not impossible." "What do you mean?" Shen Hanshan immediately asked. Qing Yanan said, "Actually, I've heard that Su Yimo will make a move against Ningxi soon. She won't be able to stay in this golden age for long. Ningxi is so popular now." There's no way Golden Era would give up on the benefits. Does Su Yimo really have the ability to make Golden Era give up on such a popular star? Shen Hanshan asked uncertainly. Qing Yanan shook her head. "There's something you don't know. Even if you're an A-lister, if Su Yimo wants you dead, you won't be able to survive." "What do you mean? Do you know whose woman Su Yimo is?" Qing Yanan said mysteriously. "Who?" Qing Yanan stretched out a finger and pointed upwards. "Lu Group," Shen Hanshan frowned. "Lu Jingli?" Qing Yanan shook her head. She then said in a fearful tone, "It's not Lu Jingli, it's Lu Tingxiao." "What?" This time, even Shen Hanshan's expression changed. Chapter 1248. Ningxi and Lu Tingxiao returned to the Platinum Palace. Since Lu Tingxiao was going abroad on a business trip tomorrow, they might not see each other for a long time, so Ningxi stayed the night here. After coaxing Little Bun to sleep, Ningxi closed the door and went to Lu Tingxiao's bedroom. There was no one there, so she found him in the study. She saw a man working at the desk. "Why aren't you sleeping? Go to bed early. You have to catch a flight tomorrow." Ning Shi said discontentedly when she saw Lu Tingxiao was still busy. "Yes, I still have some time." Lu Tingxiao was reading and revising some unknown contract without blinking. When he heard her words, he naturally extended his arm and pulled the girl onto his lap. Ning Shi felt sorry for him. She touched the dark circles under Lu Tingxiao's eyes. "Alas, I shouldn't have asked you to come to the show with me. You're so busy." Lu Tingxiao held the girl's fingers and kissed them. He looked at her with a faint smile and said, "You're nothing in this world. Are you going to deprive me of my only pleasure in life?" Ning Shi couldn't help blushing when she heard his low, husky voice. Holy shit, the words that she had said previously came out of the great demon king's mouth. In the end, the level of seduction soared to the sky. The devil was so good at applying what he had learned. "Ahem, where are you going?" Ning Shi asked. "Moscow, Country E. When will you come back?" "I'm not sure. I'll come back after I solve the problem," Lu Tingxiao answered. Hearing this, Ning Shi frowned slightly. She remembered some news she had read in the financial section of magazines and newspapers recently. It was said that Lu's group had frequent accidents in the overseas market, and a strong investment company suddenly appeared in China to seize the market of Lu's group in Hua Nation. These things were common in the business world, but Ning Shi felt uneasy because they were too coincidental. Lu Tingxiao's eyes flickered when he saw the girl's worried look. He deliberately whispered in her ear, "You're still here and you're already missing me?" Ning Shi couldn't help but laugh. She glared at him and said, "That's right, there are so many talented beauties from different races in each country. What if you get kidnapped? Other women are no different from dust in my eyes." Although they were words of love, Lu Tingxiao's expression was unusually serious when he said it. He really thought so. Ning Shi kissed the man's lips. "Me too." The next morning, Ning Shi sent Lu Tingxiao to the airport. Although Ning Shi was now completely famous, fortunately, her disguise skill was quite superb. If she wanted to go out to do some private things, she only needed to change her makeup. For example, today, Ning Shi actually dressed up as a high school student and wore a school uniform. Even if the eyes of the fans were made of titanium alloy, they probably wouldn't be able to recognize the cute and tender female student in front of them as their male. Some of the corners of Lu Jingli's mouth twitched as he looked at his sister-in-law's underage appearance in amazement. "Little Cece, you're amazing. I'm convinced." Initially, he wanted to say that little Cece would not be able to have fun anymore since she would be surrounded by fans whenever she went out. However, it turned out that he was too naive. "I'm leaving." Lu Tingxiao rubbed the girl's hair affectionately and then leaned over as if he wanted to kiss her. However, when he saw her dress, he couldn't do it. Chapter 1249. Ning Shi waited for a long time but didn't get a goodbye kiss. She was a little unhappy and looked at him accusingly. "Kiss kiss." Lu Tingxiao pinched his eyebrows and looked a little helpless. Lu Jingli was speechless. "Xiao Cece, aren't you afraid that my brother will take you away after kissing you?" Lu Jingli was thinking that he didn't have to eat dog food this time. However, Ning Shi took off her school jacket, jumped up and kissed the man's lips. Lu Jingli was speechless. Brother, she was awesome. However, the dog food wasn't over yet. His brother had just finished kissing his wife and then turned to him and said, "Take care of Ning Shi and the company." Ning Shi and the company. He put his wife first. It was obvious which one was more important. As for him. After sending Xiao Cece back, Lu Jingli rushed to Lu Corporation to deal with business. Lu Tingxiao had asked Lu Jingli to use Xingshi Entertainment as a practice. Now that Xingshi Entertainment was on the right track, Yi Sudong, the deputy general manager of Xingshi Entertainment, was in charge of daily affairs. Lu Jingli's focus had gradually returned to the head office. Backstage of a high-end brand's ribbon-cutting event. Zhao Anxin finished the call and walked in with a flushed face. She said excitedly, Yimo, Director Yi from Lu Group's advertising department just replied to me. He said it's no problem at all. We can go and sign the contract in a few days. Recently, Su Yimo's endorsement contract with Lu Corporation had expired and they were talking about renewing it. Seeing how popular Ning Shi was and how proud Lin Jiji was, Zhao Anxin couldn't sit still, so she doubled Su Yimo's endorsement fee with Lu Corporation. Su Yimo showed a rare look of joy when she heard that. What did they say? They don't have any objections to such a high price? Zhao Anxin immediately said proudly, EMO, look at what you're saying, how could they dare to object? If you ask for a low price, it will damage your reputation. President Lu has always been obedient to you, okay? Liang Biqin also said excitedly, cousin, President Lu really dotes on you. Su Yimo's cheeks turned red, and then a worried expression appeared on her face as she thought of something. But, it's been so long. I've never seen him alone. At first, she thought that Lu Tingxiao was keeping a low profile to protect her. She even thought that this was his way of expressing his feelings. However, as time went on, it had been more than a year, and Lu Tingxiao still had no intention of going on a date with her, which inevitably made her a little disappointed. Liang Biqin immediately comforted her. Sis, that's Lu Tingxiao we're talking about. How can he act like an ordinary man? I'm sure he has his reasons. He must be looking for the best time to announce your relationship. In fact, Zhao Anxin had a similar worry at the beginning. She was worried that there might be some misunderstanding. However, Lu Corporation's attitude towards Su Yimo couldn't be faked. Su Yimo came from an ordinary family. There was no way she could have anything to do with Lu Corporation. Other than Lu Tingxiao liking Su Yimo, there was no other possibility. Thus, Zhao Anxin said confidently, Biqin is right. I heard that the two elders of the Lu family don't really like people from the entertainment industry. Boss Lu is most likely doing their job. Chapter 1250. Hearing their words, Su Yimo agreed with them and immediately felt relieved. Seeing that Su Yimo was in a good mood, Liang Biqin massaged her shoulders attentively and said, Cousin, speaking of the Lu Group, I heard that the Lu Group is going to spend a lot of money to gather 7 super popular male stars in the entertainment industry, including Jiang Mai, to shoot a large-scale advertisement. This is a full-line advertisement for all of the Lu Group's products. When the time comes, it will be on all the channels of the Lu Group, Su Yimo said. I heard about it. What's wrong? It would cost a lot of money to hire a superstar like Jiang Mai, but Lu Enterprises was going to hire 7 of them. When the news was released, fans on the internet almost went crazy. So far, there were 6 confirmed candidates, and there was only 1 left, but because they were all male stars, it had nothing to do with her. So, Su Yimo didn't understand why Liang Biqin suddenly brought it up. Liang Biqin immediately said indignantly, Isn't Ning Shi quite popular recently because she's playing a role that's neither male nor female? I heard from the advertising department of Lu Enterprises that they want to hire Ning Shi to dress as a man for this advertisement. Su Yimo's expression changed. What? She had tolerated this Ning Shi for the sake of the big picture, but now she dared to get involved in Lu Enterprises. Liang Biqin saw Su Yimo's expression and knew that this was definitely Su Yimo's sore spot, so she immediately added fuel to the fire. Cousin, this Ning Shi has gone too far. Not only did she steal what should have belonged to me, she even came to your territory to show off. She's too arrogant. If it hadn't been for Ning Shi, the popularity and the sensational advertisement of Lu Enterprises would have been hers. How could Liang Biqin not be angry? Su Yimo snorted, glanced at Zhao Anxin and said casually, Sister Xian, call Director Yi right now and ask what's going on. If they really want to hire Ningxi, you know what to do. Su Yimo then went to the front with Liang Biqin to attend the ribbon-cutting ceremony. Zhao Anxin naturally knew what Su Yimo meant, so she immediately called Yi Ying, the director of the advertising department of Lu Group, after receiving her signal. "Hello, Miss Zhao. Is there any problem with Emo's contract?" Yi Ying asked politely. Zhao Anxin said, "I'm sorry to bother you again, Director Yi. I'm not here for Yimo, I have something to ask you." "Oh? What is it?" "Please speak, Miss Zhao. I heard that Lu's Group is going to shoot a full-line TV commercial with 7 super popular male stars in the entertainment circle, and one of them is Ningxi?" Zhao Anxin asked. Hearing Zhao Anxin's question, Yi Ying's face darkened. She chose Ningxi as the last candidate, and this idea was unanimously approved by the advertising department. However, the thing she was most worried about still happened. In Xingshi Entertainment, the legendary lady boss, Su Yimo, and Ningxi seemed to be competitors. Now that Su Yimo had indeed asked about this matter, inviting Ningxi to be the spokesperson was probably going to fall through. Chapter 1251. About inviting Ningxi to be the spokesperson. I do plan to do that. What do you think, Miss Su? Yi Ying asked cautiously. Zhao Anxin said unhappily, Director Yi, let's not beat around the bush. I'm sure you know what's going on with Xingshi Entertainment. Ningxi is indeed a little immature. She has made our Yimo very unhappy. Our Yimo is also a nice person who tolerates her time and time again. Now, she actually got the endorsement of Lu Group just like our Yimo. She's jumping around right under her nose to disgust our Yimo. Tell me, how can our Yimo not feel disgusted? Yi Ying sighed inwardly and said, Miss Zhao, I understand what you mean. It's my fault. I'll find someone else to be the endorser. Please tell Miss Su not to worry. I won't allow Ningxi to appear in the advertisements and endorsements of Lu's Group in the future. I hope Miss Su won't mind. After hesitating for a long time, Yi Ying chose this method. Others might not know, but as the director of the PR department of Lu Enterprise, she knew better than anyone else. Boss had promised to satisfy all of Su Yimo's requests. Not to mention that Su Yimo had been in the company frequently and was close to the young master. Therefore, even though Zhao Anxin had asked for double the endorsement fee, she had agreed without hesitation, not to mention it was just a change of spokesperson. Unfortunately, she had spent a lot of time and effort on this commercial. If she could invite Ningxi, it would be the finishing touch and the effect would be doubled. Now she had to find someone else. While Yi Ying was thinking, Zhao Anxin said, Since you want to find someone else, why don't I recommend someone to you, Director Yi? Our Bichin is also very good in men's clothing. What do you think, Director Yi? Yi Ying almost vomited blood when she heard this. Liang Bichin could replace Ningxi? How could she make such a request? Compared with Ningxi, Liang Bichin had been scolded badly by the audience. If she hired such a person for the advertisement, all her efforts would go to waste. What's wrong, Director Yi? Is there a problem? Zhao Anxin's tone was slightly oppressive and threatening. After all, the other party could really be the future lady boss. Even if she couldn't become the lady boss, she would still be under the protection of Sir Boss. No matter how unwilling she was, she had to compromise. Of course there's no problem. In the end, Yi Ying gritted her teeth and said. After Su Yimo and Liang Bichin finished the event, Zhao Anxin told them the result. Yimo, it's done. After I told him what you wanted, Director Yi immediately said that he would never ask Ningxi to be the endorser. Not only that, but he also said that Ningxi would not appear in all the endorsements and activities of Lu's Group. Su Yimo nodded in satisfaction. By the way, there's another piece of good news. I helped Bai Qin get the endorsement, Zhao Anxin said with a smile. Liang Bichin was overjoyed. What? Xian's sister. Are you saying that Ningxi's endorsement is mine now? That's right. Ah. Xian's sister. Thank you. And cousin. I'm so happy to be with you. Liang Biqin exclaimed excitedly. Su Yimo calmly looked at her cousin's excited expression. Are you satisfied now? So you don't have to keep nagging me. Yes, yes. Cousin, you're so awesome. That Ningxi is nothing in your eyes. Chapter 1252. Inside Lin Jiji's office at Xingshi Entertainment. Ning Shi was discussing the script with Lin Jiji. Lin Jiji handed a script to Ning Shi. Ning Shi, take a look at this. Ning Shi rolled her eyes. The director is Guo Qisheng. She had worked with Guo Qisheng on The World and it had been a smooth and enjoyable collaboration. Lin Jiji nodded. That's right, but this time it's not a movie, it's a TV series. Although you started out in the film industry, I don't recommend giving up on TV series and only movies. Nowadays, many movie stars think that making TV series is degrading, but it's not. The TV series market is huge now, and there's no difference between movie stars and TV stars. Ningxi echoed, I've never thought of making only movies, as long as the script is good. Even Song Lin, the movie queen, insisted on not making TV series after so many years of making movies, but her popularity dropped. Didn't she take a TV series a while ago? After reaching an agreement, Lin Jiji continued, Guo Qisheng's script is very good. It's a very popular fantasy IP series, written by a top domestic screenwriter, and hired a Hollywood special effects team. The actors are all big names and veterans in the industry. It's very suitable as your first TV series. Lin Jiji paused for a second, then continued, actually, Guo Qisheng had already given me the script a few months ago. Unfortunately, you had already accepted Shen Mian's film at that time. Fortunately, the production team was still in the preparation stage at that time. Recently, the preparations are almost done, and the main characters have basically been confirmed. So, what's my role? Ning Shi asked. Your role is one of the female leads. This TV series has 2 female leads, one good and one evil, each with their own characteristics. The 2 characters in the original novel are equally popular online, so most of the focus and gimmick of the TV series is on the 2 female leads, Lin Jiji explained. Ning Shi was a little surprised. As early as a few months ago, Guo Qisheng had already handed over this booklet. At that time, she wasn't as famous as she was now, but Guo Qisheng had given her the role of the female lead without any worries. Although there were 2 female leads, from Jiji's description, this role was even more important than a single female lead. Ning Shi was quite touched by Guo Qisheng's trust in her. Who's the other female lead? Ning Shi asked. Golden Horse Awards, Best Actress Meng Shi. Replied Lin Jiji. Hearing this, Ning Shi couldn't help laughing. Director Guo thinks too highly of me, even with her current status, she was still a far cry from Meng Shi. Ever since Meng Shi debuted, she had always acted as the female lead, and every one of them was a masterpiece. She herself was an actress, and was considered one of the rare female artists in the entertainment industry with good resources and talent. That was why at such a young age, she was able to win 2 Best Actress awards. What's more, the Golden Horse and Golden Statue were the 2 most prestigious film awards in the country. Indeed, her future was limitless. Thinking that she could work with such a real actor, Ning Shi couldn't help feeling more excited. Sister Jiji, I'll take some time to look at this script and give you an answer as soon as possible. Ning Shi said. In fact, she had already decided that she would take on this film. She could also take the opportunity to see if there were any roles suitable for the Demon King to make a cameo appearance. She had a good relationship with Guo Qisheng, and Ku Mingyu was quite popular now. It shouldn't be a problem for her to insert him into a small role. Chapter 1253. Just then, Ning Shi's phone rang. It happened to be Guo Qisheng. Ning Shi hurriedly picked up the phone. Hello, Director Guo. I was just discussing with Sister Gigi about the script you sent over. I didn't expect you to call. Ning Shi, that's what I wanted to talk to you about. Hiss, you've been. Guo Qisheng sounded hesitant. After a while, he asked, Ning Shi, did you offend anyone recently? Hearing this, Ning Shi was slightly stunned. No, why do you ask that, Director Guo? Guo Qisheng sighed. I just met with a few investors, and they seem to be afraid that I'll use you. They said that Lu Enterprises has banned you, and they're afraid that you'll be in trouble. Cough, cough, cough. Ning Shi almost choked on her own saliva. Director Guo, what did you say? Who gave me the order to ban me? Lu Enterprises? Hearing Ning Shi's words, Lin Jiji's expression changed. Guo Qisheng, who was on the other end of the line, said, I don't know where this news came from either, but this rumor is very bad for you and will affect you greatly. Even if it's just a rumor, it's enough to make a lot of your resources shy away. Thank you for the reminder, Director Guo. I'll find out the truth. But you can rest assured that I've tailor-made this role for you. I'll be waiting for you, Guo Qisheng promised. Ning Shi thanked him again and then explained the situation to Lin Jiji. Lin Jiji frowned. I'm afraid it's not completely groundless. Su Yimo must have taken action. Lin Jiji had always been calm, but now she looked worried. Ning Shi, I told you from the beginning that we can't afford to offend Su Yimo's backer. If Lu Enterprises really did it, then, we have no way to fight back. You have to know, in the face of absolute power, all schemes and strategies are useless. Ning Shi didn't know how to comfort Lin Jiji. Was she supposed to say that her sweetheart would never ban her? So she could only say casually, Sister Gigi, don't worry. Maybe it's not as bad as we think. Big Sister Gigi, Big Brother Shi, it's time for the meeting. Xiao Tao knocked on the door and reminded them. Because the anniversary celebration of Xingshi Entertainment was just around the corner, the company specially convened some senior executives and influential artists to hold a meeting for some matters related to the anniversary celebration. After waiting for a long time, Su Yimo, Liang Biqin, and Zhao Anqin finally arrived. However, everyone seemed to take it for granted. It was obvious that they were already used to Su Yimo's behavior. Yimo, why are you working so late? You have to take care of your health. Not only did Yi Sudong not blame her for being late, but he also cared about her. Alright, since everyone is here, let's start the meeting. Because the general manager is in the group and has been very busy recently, I will be hosting this meeting. During the meeting, Yi Sudong praised a lot of artists who had made outstanding contributions, not to mention Su Yimo. As for this year's most dazzling dark horse, Ning Shi, Yi Sudong didn't even mention a word about her. It could be said that he gave her the cold shoulder. After a long speech, Yi Sudong said excitedly, I called you all here today because I have a very important matter to inform you. That is, the president of our group, Lu Tingxiao, will also attend the company's anniversary celebration. So, you must all perform well. Chapter 1254. Lu Enterprises. Lu Jingli was working overtime in the company when someone knocked on the door. Come in. Second young master. It was Yi Ying, the creative director of the advertising department. Lu Jingli stretched and looked at her. Hey, little Yezi, what's up? Yi Ying couldn't help but blush when she saw Lu Jingli's amorous eyes and how he addressed her so intimately. She said softly, Second young master, I have something to ask you. Su Yimo's endorsement contract with Lu Corporation has expired, and we're currently talking about renewing the contract. However, Zhao Anqin has increased the contract's fee to twice the previous amount. Lu Jingli said casually, that's it? Yi Ying hurriedly said, don't worry, I've already agreed. I didn't want to bother you with such a small matter, but there's one more thing. Our company has a very important endorsement this year, and we're going to invite 7 super popular male stars. For the 7th star, I was going to invite Ning Shi, the actress who's been very popular recently, to be the spokesperson with the other 6 in men's clothing. That way, it'll be more creative and popular. Lu Jingli's eyes lit up when he heard this. He picked up the coffee beside him and took a sip. That's a good idea. Hearing Lu Jingli's praise, Yi Ying was happy but also disappointed. But Su Yimo is also interested in this advertisement and recommended Liang Biqin to replace Ning Shi. In terms of popularity, Liang Biqin is good enough, but in men's clothing, I'm afraid that Liang Biqin's image will affect the effect of the advertisement and even the image of our company. Yi Ying thought about it and finally couldn't bear to see the advertisement ruined. Even though she knew that Lu Jingli would probably agree to Su Yimo's request, she still came to ask for his opinion. Miss Su doesn't seem to like Ning Shi, so to avoid making her unhappy, I've promised her that I'll ban Ning Shi from all the endorsements and activities of Lu Enterprises in the future. Pfft, Lu Jingli spat out a mouthful of coffee. Yi Ying was shocked. Second young master, is there a problem? It took Lu Jingli a long time to recover. He was about to say something when he suddenly thought of something and fell silent. Lu Jingli rubbed his chin. Well, of course, he could stand up for little Cece now. But such a good opportunity to be a hero and save the damsel in distress should be given to his brother. Moreover, the one who started the trouble had to end it. This matter could only be done by his brother. Su Yimo had saved Xiaobao's life by accident. That was just to make her famous. That was not a big deal. Anyway, it didn't matter who she made famous. As long as she didn't court death, just her luck of saving Xiaobao was enough for her to live the rest of her life in luxury. Back then, after his brother said that, he never cared about this matter again. He had probably long forgotten about this person, not to mention paying attention to an insignificant person who leached off his popularity. This time, that woman had definitely succeeded in attracting his brother's attention. Little Yi Zi, do you know that you just got your life back? Lu Jingli looked at Yi Ying and said meaningfully. What do you mean, second young master? Yi Ying looked puzzled. Lu Jingli sighed and then said kindly, Director Yi, don't renew the contract with Su Yimo and that advertisement contract for the time being. This. Why? Yi Ying was even more confused. Lu Jingli smiled. You'll know when the time comes. Chapter 1255. At Xingshi Entertainment. After the meeting, everyone was excited because of the news that Vice President Yi Sudong said at the meeting. Oh my God. Is Boss Lu really going to come? I've worked for Xingshi for 5 years and I've never seen Boss Lu. I've seen it once at an event. Is he really as handsome as the rumors say? How does he compare to our second young master? Of course. My legs gave out just by looking at him, okay? Compared to second young master, he's a completely different type. Several staff members looked at Ning Shi sympathetically as they discussed. Poor Ning Shi. She's finished as soon as she became famous. She became famous so quickly and even slapped Ms. Su's face. I heard that she was supposed to be the spokesperson for Lu Group, but Su Yimo gave it to Liang Biqin and said that Ning Shi won't be able to sign any endorsements for Lu Group in the future. Oh my God, she's so miserable. Don't tell me the next step is to ban me? I think Ning Shi is doomed. Didn't Boss Lu come to support Su Yimo in person? Oh my God, I suddenly thought of something. Is Boss Lu going to reveal his relationship with Su Yimo at this anniversary celebration? On the other side, after the meeting, Ning Shi turned off the silent mode on her phone. Suddenly, she saw a text message from the devil on her phone. Thus, he hurriedly opened it and saw 4 words quietly written on the screen, Lu Cabbage, wait for me. When Liang Biqin walked past Ning Shi, she deliberately bumped into her shoulder, but Ningxi's lower body was very stable. Liang Biqin didn't move Ningxi at all. Instead, she stumbled because of the recoil and had to be supported by Zhao Anxin to steady herself. Liang Biqin glared at Ningxi, snorted, and said fearlessly, "Ningxi, if you kneel in front of me and apologize to me now, maybe I can forgive you this time and let you make a living in the entertainment industry." Su Yimo saw Liang Biqin humiliating Ningxi in public, but didn't stop her at all. Ningxi stopped Xiao Tao, who was about to step forward angrily. She put away her phone and glanced sideways at Liang Biqin. She smiled faintly and said, "I'll return the same words to you. Everything has its ups and downs. Miss Liang, forgive me for reminding you, but it's still not certain who will be in charge of the entertainment industry in the future." The moment Ningxi said this, almost everyone around her sucked in a breath of cold air. This Ningxi was too daring. Was she crazy? He actually dared to say something like that. After saying that, Ningxi ignored everyone's reaction and left without looking back. After Ningxi left, Liang Biqin finally realized what Ningxi had just said. She was so angry that she almost vomited blood. "Cousin. Look at her." Obviously, this lesson did not make her restrain herself at all. "How dare he say such arrogant words in front of you to provoke you?" Liang Biqin gritted her teeth and whispered into Su Yimo's ear, "Cousin, when are you going to do it? I've already thought of several plans for you. I promise I'll kill Ningxi without anyone knowing." A trace of coldness flashed across Su Yimo's lips. "Do I need a plan to attack her?" Liang Biqin paused. Cousin, you mean," at this time, Zhao Anxin said with a smile, "Biqin, with Mo's status, if we want to kill that bitch, Ningxi, we don't need to go through so much trouble." Liang Biqin immediately smiled. "Right. I'm so confused." Chapter 1256. Time flew by, and in the blink of an eye, it was the day of Xingshi Entertainment's anniversary celebration. After the company meeting that day, Su Yimo announced to the entire entertainment industry that she was going to ban Ningxi. After all, Su Yimo was the top star of Xingshi Entertainment and had a great influence in the entertainment industry. Coupled with the coveting power behind her, almost all of Ningxi's work had been suspended these days, and she was almost not qualified to attend the anniversary celebration. In the end, Su Yimo had to plead in front of Yi Sudong to let Ningxi attend. With such a good opportunity, of course she wanted Ningxi to open her eyes wide and see who was in charge in the entertainment industry. The annual celebration of Xingshi Entertainment was exceptionally grand every year, not to mention that the big boss of Xingshi Group would also be there this year. Yi Sudong, the vice president, had put in a lot of effort to make the entire ceremony extremely luxurious and invited all the influential media. In order to raise Su Yimo's status in the entertainment industry to a higher level, how could Zhao Anxin let go of such a good opportunity today? She had deliberately leaked the news to the media early on, saying that Lu Tingxiao was attending this time for Su Yimo, and that it was very likely that he would announce his relationship with Su Yimo today. After learning that the legendary CEO of Lu Enterprises would be attending this time, the media couldn't wait any longer. Admission tickets were hard to come by, not to mention such a sensational piece of gossip. How could they not be excited? Tonight, Su Yimo wore the Chanel haute couture white mermaid gown that she endorsed. She had an extraordinary temperament and won a lot of stunned gazes and endless compliments. It was impossible for Su Yimo to not have any ability to make it to where she was today. For example, she had perfected her trademark cold goddess image. Although many fans were a little tired of her monotonous image, there were still a lot of die-hard fans who fell for it. As soon as Su Yimo walked on the red carpet, the flashes of the media didn't stop one after another. After signing her name on the signature wall, Su Yimo was immediately surrounded by a group of sprinting reporters with long guns. "Yimo, you're so beautiful today." Chanel's Wings of the Goddess is the only one who can ride on it. Yimo, today is the 5th anniversary of Xingshi Entertainment. What do you think? Yimo, I heard that CEO Lu of Lu Enterprises will also be here today. I heard that you and CEO Lu are very close in private. Is this true? Ah, that's, just as the reporters were trying to get information out of Su Yimo, someone in the crowd suddenly exclaimed in the direction of the door. Soon after, the reporters surrounding Su Yimo all stared at the door in a daze. At the end of the red carpet, Ningxi was wearing an extremely luxurious black dress. No one knew what the dress was made of. The lines were as light as flowing water, and the jewels and jades on it were like the starry sky in the universe. The mysterious and treacherous patterns emitted an extremely powerful aura. Ningxi was wearing such a breathtaking and cold dress, but her aura wasn't suppressed in the slightest. Instead, she was like a queen looking down on all living things. After a long while, the stunned crowd burst into exclamations. Too beautiful. Who is that woman? Ningxi. It was Ningxi. Oh my God. I almost didn't recognize you. There's someone who's so lucky. Several investors and the CEOs of Xingshi Entertainment's partner companies were very polite to Su Yimo. One of them toasted her with a smile. Miss Su, we're old friends. Don't forget to put in a good word for me in front of President Lu. The huge sense of vanity made Su Yimo's slight unhappiness because of Ningxi disappear. She spoke to those CEOs in a natural and unrestrained manner, even with a bit of arrogance. Of Lu Su Yu of. Shi Su King, Shi Kudenem So, A. Chapter 1258. Ah, Second Young Master. Second Young Master. President Lu. Lu Jingli also arrived, accompanied by the excited screams of the girls. Lu Jingli was wearing a flashy pink suit today, which made him look even more flirtatious and unruly, causing the girls to scream non-stop. In the corner, Ningxi looked at Lu Jingli's pink suit, and the corners of her mouth twitched. But it was undeniable that this guy really suited this color. Su Yimo thought that it was Lu Tingxiao, but she couldn't help but be a little disappointed when she saw that it was Lu Jingli. Liang Biqin teased, "Cousin, you've been looking forward to it." Su Yimo blushed and glared at her. "Don't talk nonsense." Seeing that Lu Jingli had arrived, Yi Sudong hurriedly went up to him and looked behind him nervously. "General Manager, you're here." Then President Lu. He had been busy for so long and wanted to show off, but he didn't want President Lu to not show up. He just got off the plane and is already on his way here. Lu Jingli looked at Yi Sudong with a faint smile. "Don't worry, my brother will definitely come tonight." Yi Sudong felt that Lu Jingli's tone was strange, but he didn't think too much about it and let out a sigh of relief. It was good that he would come. After talking to Yi Sudong, Lu Jingli walked up to the stage and raised his hand to signal for everyone to be quiet. Immediately, everyone fell silent and looked at Lu Jingli on the stage. Lu Jingli picked up the microphone, and his peach blossom eyes were full of a seductive smile as he said leisurely, "Today is the 5th anniversary of Xingshi Entertainment. Thank you all very much for coming. As you all know, my brother will also be here today. Apart from that, I have also obtained a great benefit for our female compatriots." Hearing this, there was a small burst of curious discussion. "Ah. Benefit. Second Young Master, what benefit is it?" "Second Young Master, hurry up and tell us, don't keep us in suspense." Lu Jingli glanced at a certain direction in the corner and continued, "In the past, I have always been the one to perform the opening dance, but this year." President Lu will be the one to perform the opening dance. As soon as Lu Jingli finished speaking, he was drowned out by the excited screams of the audience. Lu Jingli made a sad expression. Sigh, so everyone hates me so much? Of course not. I like you the most, I like you the most. When the girls saw Lu Jingli's disappointed look, they naturally comforted him for a while. Satisfied, Lu Jingli continued, as for my brother's dance partner, I'm going to try something new this year. I'm sure you all got the number cards from the waiters. Please take good care of this token. Later, my brother will randomly pick a lady to dance with us. What if Boss Lu draws a man? Master. Master. Lu Young Master Lu. Master Yang. Lu, the girls were all masters, the girls were. In your dreams. Let's not talk about whether or not you will have such good luck. Do you really think that the selection will be random? That's true, there's an 80% chance that Su Yimo will steal it. We're just the accompaniment for their fun. Don't even think about it. Lu. You're tuning in to the Dreamy Chapters YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.